Welcome to Swasa Balance. This is our space where we explore beyond the physical, where mind, body, and rhythm come together. Today's guest, we have Mrs. Sirisha Dambalapati with us. She is a meditation instructor. She's been practicing mindfulness and meditation for the past decade, close to now. And in this particular series, the larger aim is to discuss about how meditation and health go together, how in today's world, mindfulness is something that almost all of us have to practice. And then step by step in each episode, we are going to start with what is the basics of meditation. Then we'll go into something around how meditation, food, sleep, all of these come together to just help us. Hi, Sirisha.
Hi, Nikhil.
Welcome to Swasa Balance.
Thank you.
So we'll start off with the conversation.
Right. Okay.
Right. So when it comes to the word meditation, right, my imagination always goes to some yogi in the Himalayas, some deep meditation and all that. But then if that were to get translated to our common life, how would that look?
Right. Meditation, whatever you're speaking about is right. Sadhus, rishis. There is one more set of meditation which is called as a mindfulness.
Okay.
It is extracted from the stream of meditation. So the meditation, whatever we practice every day, it's all about the mindfulness. Let me explain you. See, if anyone asks you why do you sleep every day? Why do you eat food every day? So what would be your answer?
For sustenance, for energy, for life.
Meditation is also same.
Okay.
It's very much equal to the food and sleep. It's nowhere different actually. What happens exactly when we sleep? When we sleep, there will be one thing happening inside us without our intervention. Like how we charge our mobiles every day with the electricity. During sleep, we will charge ourselves with the energy. We are all energy beings, right? We call ourselves as energy beings. So the name of that energy is cosmic energy. We are all made of that cosmic energy actually. So cosmic energy is what the basic preliminary part of it. When you see this is a bracelet. We call it as a bracelet. What is the basic preliminary part of this? Gold.
Yeah.
Likewise, we are human beings. So maybe there is an animal. We call it as a dog. But the basic preliminary part of everything on this earth is a cosmic energy.
Okay.
Everything is made of it in a different forms. So we charge ourselves with the cosmic energy every day. Then we are in a deep state of sleep.
Okay. Okay.
So when we eat, what happens is we eat, the food gets digested and it gets converted into energy. That is nothing but the cosmic energy. So whatever the things we do every day, sleep, food, what we call as a basic thing to survive, it's nothing but taking the cosmic energy inside. The same thing happens with meditation as well. So we call it as a mindfulness in the day-to-day life.
Okay.
So here, whatever the thing we are doing in the sleep without consciousness, the same thing we will be achieving in meditation consciously. That's it.
Okay. Can you explain more to this? This is very interesting about how you say that food, sleep, and meditation are all, universally the same, and they're all trying to help us, recharge ourselves and make ourselves a better version of ourselves. But how does meditation do it? How does mindfulness do it in, today's life?
Actually, this is when we sleep, what happens? We already discussed, we take the cosmic energy inside. So when you wish to charge your mobile every day, unless it is like a wireless charging, we have a pin where the electricity enters into the mobile, right? Similarly, this is the point where we intake the cosmic energy inside us.
Okay.
This is the point. So this is how we charge ourselves. So when we eat the food gets digested and the energy gets dissipated.
Okay. Okay.
It's the raw form of energy we are intaking.
Okay.
So with the food and with sleep, we fill ourselves almost with the 40% of the cosmic energy inside, but not 100%. Okay. To make it 100%, we have to meditate every day.
Okay.
So here, it includes the position of the body in the meditation. So when we sleep, how do we sleep? It's like a horizontal position here. Take it an example of a bottle. If you want to fill a bottle with water, if this bottle is in a horizontal way, you dip it inside a tank. You remove it after 1 hour, it would be half filled. You remove it after 4 hours, still it would be half filled. So it's never dependent on how long we are sleeping. So during sleep, what happens is we enter into a state called thoughtlessness, a zero thought state.
Okay.
So the main condition for the cosmic energy to enter is we have to go into a zero thought state.
Okay.
Though you put a plug to your mobile, you have to on the switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, owning the switch is equal to the zero thought state.
Okay.
So that happens in the sleep naturally. But here we take it in a meditation consciously.
Okay. Okay.
So you enter into zero thought state. That's how the cosmic energy will start entering inside you, and that's how it will be filled yourself with the energy, maybe for the 40% to 30%. That's how. So when you eat, we feel that when we eat, we get a lot of energy. But with the food we just get 10% of the energy. Without food, you can sustain for a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
But without sleep, you cannot.
Yeah.
At least for one day, we cannot sustain with this. See, it's the ratio. With the food, you can sustain. Without food, you can sustain for long. Without sleep, maybe you can sustain for a day or two. And if you're not going to sleep continuously for 7 days, you're going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how we are making ourselves into an emergency mode, maybe the power saving mode of 40%. The more we grow in the age, this will not work. Because the more we grow in the age, the more we need to involve in multiple things. So we need a lot of energy. That's how we will look into the alternative of these two again. Oh, what will really help us more than food and sleep? That's where we remember meditation is.
Okay.
So here with meditation, what we do is, first is with the position of the body. You sit when you're meditating. Have you ever seen anyone who is sleeping while meditating? Most of the cases it's not there. But there are many techniques who can really make us into the deep state of sleep, but that is not equal to meditation. So when we meditate, we usually sit.
Yeah.
That's how you're filling yourselves with the cosmic energy
So like
into the evenly layers of the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like how you put your bottle in a open mode, you fill it with the top of the water. That's how you're filled completely. It just takes 2 minutes, right, to fill the bottle with water. Not more than 2 minutes. So that is why 1 hour of meditation, the cosmic energy you intake with 1 hour of meditation is equal to the 6 to 7 hours of sleep.
Oh, wow.
Sleep and meditation are different in the terms of taking the cosmic energy.
So the final aim is sort of similar to fill ourselves with cosmic energy.
Right.
But then there is, meditation would boost us to go from that 40% to higher.
The main aim is not taking the cosmic energy.
Okay.
The main aim is reducing the intensity of thoughts we have.
Okay. Okay.
So here we need to understand that thought is either related to a past or to a future. In the present tense, we don't have any thoughts. In the present tense, we have an action. We take a decision and we will start acting on that thought.
Yeah.
That's how the implementation is all about in the present moment. But we are carried away with the past or we are carried away with the future. That's where our present tense is being affected.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are multiple ways where we are reducing the intensity of thoughts in our day-to-day life. It's not just the meditation alone. When people are very angry, people are very depressed, what we ask them? We ask them, okay, you listen to some chantings or you listen to some music, you get relaxed. So the relaxation is related to the mind. So in that way, what we are doing is we are reducing the intensity of thoughts. When you're watching a movie, you get relaxed, right?
Yeah.
Because
you're lost in that the story and all
patterns are lost, and that's how the intensity of thoughts got reduced. You're focusing completely on the things related to the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe we release 60 to 70,000 thoughts in a day, but everything, all the 60,000 and 70,000 vanishes into air. That's how you'll be left out with the simple set of thoughts, maybe like 5 to 6, which are related to the movie, that are completely related to movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how you start taking the cosmic energy. Less the thoughts are, the cosmic energy intake will be high.
Okay.
When you're listening to music, your thoughts are even when less. That's how we have a beautiful phrase, Puja koti samam stotram, stotra koti samam japam, japa koti samam dhyanam, dhyana koti samolaya. This is not related to the spirituality. It is related to our day-to-day life. When you perform a puja or a prayer, or when you're involved in certain action, maybe when you're working in an office. So when you're performing an action, what happens is your intensity of thought will get reduced, just like how you're praying. Then puja koti samam stotram. When you're chanting something, stotram is all about chanting. So when you're chanting the phrases, So when you're speaking to a person, your intensity of thoughts will get reduced more. So when your thoughts get reduced, that's how you intake cosmic energy more. So that is why we'll not get exhausted with the work. We'll get exhausted with the amount of thoughts we are carrying while we are working.
Yeah.
So then after that, stotram, then it goes into a jap. When you're completely focused on a particular thing, you will never get exhausted. So this japam is all about focusing on a single phrase. You can apply it to your day-to-day life. You know, when you're completely focusing on a particular project delivery, you will never get exhausted. You will completely put all your energy on that. Though we are sick, though we are ill, we'll put a completely energy on that. That's how we work. We will not get exhausted. Maybe after that, when we go into a normal thought mode, we feel that, oh, we are out of energy. But while we are working,
you're like completely, immersed into it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So whatever the things we are doing in a day-to-day life, we call it as a different meditation techniques. All the things are related to the reduction of the thoughts.
Okay.
I mean, the amount of thoughts, reduction of the amount
of thoughts.
So meditation is something which is a zero thought state.
Okay. So that's the easiest way to understand it.
So mindfulness is something which is a one thought state.
Okay.
So we are focusing on something and singing. I have to sing with mindfulness. I'm speaking with you. So I have to stay mindful while I'm speaking with you. So if my mind is wandering somewhere, then I cannot speak with you effectively. So in a day-to-day life, mindfulness comes into picture.
And how would you say, is the easiest way for somebody to understand or practice mindfulness? Is it, because I've seen that there's a lot of conversation going around breath. Right. That, you practice your breath, you concentrate on your breath, and it helps in, reducing your thoughts. Because, like you just said, you're focusing on one thing, you're bringing all of your thoughts onto one thing. Is that the easiest way to do it, or like?
Yeah, I say that this is the easiest way to mingle everything of mindfulness into the breath. But we have multiple ways. See, because the division started with the breath. Let me explain you like how. We feel that we are human beings, but deep inside, when we look ourselves, we are the combination of 5 bodies.
Okay.
So when you look into your hand, we need to understand that we are the combination of 5 bodies. This is the physical body. This is the emotional body. When we have an engagement, we put our engagement ring to this.
To that finger.
Because we get attached to the person emotionally. That's how this represents our emotional layer of the body. So this middle finger represents the intellectual layer of the body.
Okay.
So this is the spiritual layer of the body, and this is the cosmic layer of the body. So cosmic, when you see this, a thumb is completely different from these 4.
Yeah.
These 4 are the main separations, and this is what actually exists. Okay. Say, for example, this is an ocean. There is an ocean. I took a handful of water from the ocean. Okay. So when I have a handful of water in my hand, if you can see, that water and this water, same or different?
Supposed to be same.
Supposed to, but it is different in the number maybe of quantity. Okay. The scope of cosmic is very high.
Yeah,
the scope of this is limited.
Yeah.
Not low. Yeah. It is limited based on the task we are assigning to this handful of water. But in the deep sense, both are same.
Yeah.
So that is what the spirit inside us is. Actually, we feel that we are breathing, but first we are still. From that stillness, we added to the breath. When we started taking life, we started breathing.
Yeah.
So breath is the first thing where the life started. How we can really identify a person whether he is alive or dead?
Yeah.
With the breath.
The breath, yeah.
So breath is something which started right from the part of life. Then after this, you assigned this for some another task. That's how the intellectuality is different. So that's how, based on the intellectuality, again, we differ in the emotional layer. You took that handful of water, you kept it in a bowl, and you kept some another handful of water in a glass. So that's how we all differ in the shape. Like how all the ornaments are different, but the essence of it is same.
Yeah.
So we are all same. We are nowhere different. So, but we are different from the outer person.
Yeah, from the individuality comes later, but it all essentially comes from the same ocean is.
So here, let me connect it. When we meditate, what happens is we get in touch with the deep version of ourselves.
Okay.
When we get connected with the deep version of ourselves, then we get connected with the deeper version of others also. That's how we attain oneness.
Okay. Okay.
So meditation is, or mindfulness is, we will reach till this point or till the intellectual level. Meditation is something we reach to till the core part of us, the cosmic core part of us. So mindfulness is we reach till the maybe the basic division where it has happened. We will reach till that point. So to perform an action, that is enough.
Okay. So when you start speaking with somebody who's, like me, I'm interested in actually performing better in my day-to-day, work and, personal life. And if you were to say that, okay, these are the first things that you have to do, maybe let's say breathing or, how do you concentrate? What would you suggest is the first step somebody needs to take to come into contact with mindfulness, to reduce the amount of thoughts that we have and to bring it down to, something that is bearable, that where I can get, energy from my own self?
We need to link that with the breath. Why? Because see, when I said there is a division happened to us in the spiritual layer of the body, why we link? Because breath is something which is always in the present moment. So thought is either related to your past or to your future. What's happening in the present moment? Say, for example, we are now here. What's happening in the present moment? There is a conversation happening in between us. We stopped the conversation. Then what's happening?
Then the mind is...
No, breath is happening.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So breath is always happening in the present moment. Say, for example, I don't know the way to bus stand. So what happens? I'll ask you, can you please take me to the place? So I'll sit behind you. I'll not speak anything. You will direct me to that place. Likewise, our breath knows how to be in the present moment.
Yeah.
So a body, emotional body and mind always wander from past to present, to past to the future. It never stays in the present moment. It rambles always, past to future, past to future. So the rambling of past and future started with the mind. So when the mind is staying for so much time in the past and accumulating the things, that's how the emotion starts growing. Thoughts are like a passing clouds. So the clouds, the gray clouds, which are ready to rain, they are nothing but the emotions. Putting in more weight to our thoughts is nothing but an emotion, to understand in a simple sense.
Yeah.
So based on that, the physical body, if I'm in a bad mood, my face would be in a different way.
Yeah.
When I'm happy. So physical body is something which is reflection of the mental and emotional layers.
Yeah.
So breath, when we are understanding about the breath, when we are observing our breath, just you close your eyes and you observe your breath. That's how we get in tune with the exact existence of the universe.
Okay.
You get in sync with it.
So breath is like a continuous present.
Exactly. The mind will come into the present moment first. So once the mind comes into the present moment, then we'll not add more weight on the emotional layer of the body. So when there are no imprints on the emotion, then our body feels so light. For that moment.
Yeah.
That is why many people say that when you observe, you feel so light.
Yeah.
That's what is happening. So what we do here is, we will completely focus, or it's not like the focus. It's already happening inside us. There is some boy playing here. And maybe from the past 1 hour, I didn't look at him. It's like breath is happening inside us every time in the present moment. But I'm not looking at my breath. So when I started observing him, if I start concentrating on that person, maybe the kid, I'll ask him, you don't play like that, you don't play like this. You do this, you do that. I involved my intellectuality into it. I involved my emotion into it. Everything. So I didn't involve all those things. I'm just observing that kid, however he is playing. That's what we are doing with our breath.
Oh, you're pulling it back into reality.
We know how to play.
Yeah.
More than us. So that is how we are observing our breath.
Yeah.
And when we observe our breath, when I watch that kid playing, I go back to his age. Don't we really?
Yeah.
We go back to that state of mind. When he has an injury, we cry. Without knowing, when we get involved into that action, that's how I become him. So when he's feeling so happy or clapping his hand, I feel so happy because I involved myself into him completely. So the same thing is happening to us also. So when we are with our breath, we sync our body, emotion and mind to be in the present moment. So what's there in the present moment? It's a blissfulness. When we don't have the interference of our past and future, we are blissful with each other. So when our past and future comes into picture, then everything comes, and sometimes I smile at you and sometimes I don't smile at you. Sometimes I become angry on you. So that's how all the things come into picture in the past and future. In present tense, we are blissful. That's how we find the true blissful nature within us when we observe things as they are.
So it starts somewhere with, a lot of, chaos is because we are either in the past or in the present. And then the breath is the one that pulls us or like grounds us to what is the present moment. And then concentrating on that breath will actually help us, because you are beating with the present continuously, you're there continuously. So is it necessarily, are there any ways to do it or can I just sit down and then close my eyes and start to concentrate on how I'm breathing? Or are there any patterns that you as a experienced practitioner would say that, no, do this is what will get you the best effect, or do that? What would you give to a very normal, common person who's not gotten themselves into this world? What would you tell them is the first step to sit down?
Actually, the first step to meditation or mindfulness is to settle down our body.
Okay.
And to close our eyes.
Okay.
That is the basic thing. We have to choose a position of the body first where we are comfortable with. You can cross your legs or you can just cross your feet. You have to be as comfortable as possible. We shouldn't be, if we want to make a change in the kids' behavior, what we do, we should go into their shoes first rather than asking him to understand the high level of thing. We go to him, we'll kneel down in front of him, and that's how we will settle down the things there. Likewise, the first thing is we have to make our body to sit. And then the very important thing next is we will close our eyes. Because when we close our eyes, all the senses, maybe if we have 5 senses, right? So all these senses, they will be start acting outward when we open our eyes. So all the senses go inward when we close our eyes. When I close my eyes, so my eyes will still see something within. So my ears will hear something within. I feel something with my, not just the skin outer, within. So all the senses, just like this, they will start diverting inward when I close it. So the basic important thing what we do is we sit. We have to sit anyways because we already discussed why we have to sit.
Yeah.
The position of the bottle is very important. So the position of the body has to be in a sitting way, with the pose has to sit. That's how. Then the very important next thing is you have to close your eyes. These two are the basic things.
And then you just
close your eyes and observe what's happening.
Okay.
Observe maybe you observe what's happening around you in the form of, maybe there would be a ringing of bell happening around you. Just observe it. Don't judge it. Oh, this is a bell of an ice cream, or this is a bell of a temple, or this is a... Don't do anything. So in a day-to-day life, when we are completely in a chaos, you just close your eyes, you sit, and then you start observing. Maybe what's happening around you or what's happening inside you. Maybe you feel the little sensation of heaviness in your chest. You observe it. You don't say, okay, there is something happening inside my chest. Maybe there is something happening heavily on my shoulders. Don't judge it. So whatever the feeling you have, you just observe it without judging it.
So mute those thoughts that come along.
We should. That's it.
Yeah.
So whenever we have, oh, this heaviness in the chest is because of the angry I'm carrying on the person. No. It's not because of that. Let me observe that heaviness. Just observe the things. We can remember this story. Are you fond of watching Tom and Jerry?
Yeah.
Have you ever watched? There is a very good thing which I like in it. When a Tom is watching a Jerry coming out of the hole, the Jerry will never come out. So when it lost its attention on the mouse, it comes out usually.
Yeah. I understood what you're saying.
So when we have an awareness of the thought, why it is coming like this. So when the judgment comes, like, the judgment or the comment we do, it erases from the thought, thought level, the intellectual level. When we pay attention on it, it vanishes.
Yeah.
So that's how we can really relate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So likewise, when you're paying attention, oh, don't pay attention, you just observe it. So when he is observing it from the corner, though it comes, though it gone, I'm not going to kill it or I'm not going to harm it. So the mouse come and go. Likewise, when you observe without judgment, the things happen naturally. When we pay attention on it, then it will create a trouble. So the regular practice of mindfulness is very simple. It's all about the observation. So when you are involved in a fight between the two persons fighting with each other, so when you are observing the fight, it will not create any drama within us. So when we are involved in the fight, when we start judging why he is using that word or this word, then that will create chaos even within us. So the observation is all about the basic fundamental thing we need to practice with respect to the mental health. So when we observe, our emotional layer settles. So when our emotional layer settles, it will reflect on the physical body as well.
Okay.
And the anatomy of the body.
Okay. Thank you for the valuable insights. Before we wrap, would you be able to show us how you do it for the viewers, on how do you sit, how do you, become still, and, just so that we can see and understand actually how to do it?
Okay. As we already discussed, the basic fundamental thing is we have to sit. So when we sit, we can really make it a stand, but you can't stand for a long time. So when you sit, when you are in the 90 degrees with respect to the ground, when we are in our body and spine is in the 90 degrees, that's how you become alert. Our spine automatically come into a 90 degrees mode when you are alert. When you're watching a movie, when you are in the neck movement of something happening in the movie, your spine will become alert and that's how you see it.
Yeah.
So the thing is, first you have to sit. You need not to be very straight. It happens naturally.
Okay.
When the thing comes.
You don't have to force it.
You need not to force it. You just sit as comfortable as well. You need not to be lean. You need not to be so relaxed. You sit normally. So after you sit, you take the cosmic energy from here. So when you take cosmic energy from here, the energy gets released through your eyes.
Okay.
That's how you have to close your eyes when you're meditating. Then the energy would be used the way you speak. When you speak, the energy comes out in the form of words. So that's how you need not to chant anything also. Then you need not to chant anything. We'll be silent and we will release the energy through our fingertips like this. So that's how you can just clasp your fingers like this to store the energy.
Okay.
So when the energy enters inside, that's how the energy gets stored in our palms and it gets redirected. If you want to fill a pot with water, we will make ourselves sure the pot has got no holes. It's completely perfect. Likewise. Then we will release our energy through our legs as well, the tips. So that's how we will just cross our feet. This is the easiest. So when you observe the shape of the body, it is in the shape of a hexagon. So when you just cross your legs this, now the position of the body is in the triangle. When we make Padmasana, so then it is in a circle. So to store the energy, these three are the perfect shapes.
Okay.
Circle, triangle,
and a hexagon. Yeah.
So first we can choose circle. If not, the storage of energy never matters actually. It completely fills. So the second thing is with the crossed leg, the shape of triangle. And if not triangle, then hexagon like this. You can store yourselves completely with energy. Never focus on the position of the body, on the shape of the body. Storing of energy is important. To store the water, shape of the pot never matters.
Yeah.
So it has to store at its fullest shape.
Yeah.
That's how. And close your eyes and start observing. So when everything, all the chaos around you stopped, then start observing your breath. This is the basic thing. You clasp your fingers like this and you start observing your breath. You get thoughts, again come back to your breath. No matter how many times. Come back to your breath. Okay. But the thing is, you have to keep closing your eyes for that restricted 10 minutes. Maybe you can just put it for 5 to 10 minutes initially. 5 to 10 minutes. Just close your eyes until you feel comfortable. You can slowly open your eyes like this. So you get stored energy in your palms. You take that energy back to your face. And the energy gets stored in the face socket as well. Maybe you'll be closing your eyes. You store the energy there. So that's how the energy gets back when you open your eyes on the hands. That's how. Then slowly remove your hands. You feel a lot of difference.
Thank you so much, Sirisha.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you for the opportunity.